National Earthquake Safety Day being observed across the country today by organizing various programs and activities regarding earthquake risk reduction. Dairy farmers yet to receive their dues of 750 million rupees from the government. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal issues directive to clear the dues by mid-April. A Houthi missile hits a U.S. ship in the Gulf of Aden. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen unrelated to Israel's war with Hamas militants in Gaza. And Argentina football star Lionel Messi retains the FIFA Men's Player of the Year trophy. Spain's 2023 World Cup winner Aitana Bonmati voted the best women's player of the year. The National Earthquake Safety Day is being observed across the country today by organizing various programs and activities regarding earthquake risk reduction. During a program organized in the capital this morning, Minister for Home Affairs Narankaji Shrestha said that all three tiers of the government must work together for disaster management and for the construction of earthquake-resistant structures. He added that unsafe structures must be rebuilt and criteria for building new structures must be strictly implemented. The 1934 earthquake had claimed the lives of 8,519 people, while more than 207,000 structures, including 80,000 residential houses, had been destroyed. Likewise, 8,670 people had been killed in the devastating 2015 April earthquake, and more than 700,000 structures had sustained damages. The latest earthquake in Jajarkot on 3rd of November last year had also resulted in loss of lives and properties. The victims of the Jajarkot earthquake are still spending their nights under tarpaulins. The houses in rural as well as urban areas in the country that are in poor condition have further increased the risk during earthquakes. A vehicle with Indian number plate plunged into the Trishuli River earlier this morning in Chitwan's Ikchakamana under the Narangad-Mugling road section. Police have said that the vehicle had plunged into the river from near bridge number 3 at around 4:45 a.m. early this morning. The vehicle has been found while no human casualty has been reported so far. Superintendent of Police at the District Police Office Chitwan, Rameshwar Karki, said that the driver could have jumped out of the vehicle before the accident had occurred. Police who had been instantly informed about the incident had begun the rescue operation with the help of a disaster management team. The government has started collecting revenue from dairies across the country. Following the directives issued by Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal to clear the dues of all the dairy farmers by mid-April, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has started collecting returns and dues. The Dairy Development Corporation has yet to pay 750 million rupees to dairy farmers. Private companies also have not paid the dairy farmers, citing lack of demand in the market. The National Dairy Development Board has said that the private and government sectors have yet to pay a total of more than 1 billion rupees to the farmers. Meanwhile, dairy farmers have said that they have been facing problems due to the concerned entities' reluctance in paying their dues. The Managing Director of Dairy Development Corporation had been recalled to the Ministry of Agriculture, citing failure to pay the farmers. The government has demanded details of dairy products, including ghee, powder milk, among others, from private and government-owned dairies. The government has geared up to provide concessional loans after these entities provide the information. Around 5.2 million liters of milk is produced in the country on a daily basis, while only 800,000 to 1 million liters of milk reach the market. Likewise, there are 3 million dairy farmers in the country, while there are 600 dairy factories, including dairy development entities, and 1,800 dairy cooperatives. The dairy development entities purchase around 200,000 liters of milk every day, while private industries purchase 800,000 liters. The remaining milk is being sold and consumed unofficially. The government and Nepal Rashtra Bank's relaxation of policies have shown no effects on the realtor market. The government and the Nepal Rashtra Bank's relaxation of policies have shown no effects. Traders have reported a disheartening number of property transactions in the Nepali month of Push, when the realtor market used to be at its peak in the previous years. Meanwhile, the government has been claiming of improvement in the transaction of land and houses. According to the Department of Land Revenue, 45,271 plots of land had been purchased and sold between mid-December and mid-January. It is a record high number in the last 6 months. However, a decline of 35% in transaction of land has been recorded compared to the same period 2 years ago. According to data by the department, 76,523 plots of land had been purchased and sold during the same period in 2020. The government at the beginning of the Nepali year amended regulations allowing plotting of land, while the Nepal Rashtra Bank had decreased the risk weight of real estate with a view to uplift the realtor market. However, improvement in the market has remained negligible. Traders have said that selling and purchasing of land have increased as they have been transferring their land amid failure to pay loans. The number of transactions of land has increased between mid-December and mid-January compared to mid-September-October last year. However, government revenue has decreased. The government had collected 4.08 billion rupees between mid-September and mid-October, while the amount had decreased to 3.2 million last month. This is because the number of sales and purchase of land has increased in rural areas where the value of land is lower. Meanwhile, the interest for home loans had increased by 8.5% between mid-November and mid-December last year, while interest on commercial real estate has decreased. In our public voice segment, we had asked the residents of the Kathmandu Valley regarding why they think the Melamchi drinking water project has failed to ensure regular supply despite several inaugurations. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
खासमा उनीहरुले गर्ने नै हो भने उद्घाटन सुद्घाटन केही पनि गर्नु पर्दैन सिधै धारामा पानी छोड्दिने हो
हावाली मिटर घुम्ने हो हैन त्यो पैसा पनि उनीहरुले तिरिरहेका छन् त्यो पैसा तिरे बाबतको राज्यले पानी उपलब्ध गराउन सक्नुपर्छ
यो के रमिता कुनै जात्रा मात्र हुन लाग्यो हो र त्यो त राज्यले चाहिँ सुटुक्क जनताले बोल्दै नबोलिकन फुरुक्क नदिइ दिनुपर्ने कुरा हो त्यो
उद्घाटन गर्दै गर्दै भाषण गर्दै हिँडेर मात्र हुँदैन नि त
बिहान उठ्दा पनि उठेर हेर्यो भने पानी आउँदैन
जहिले उद्घाटन मात्र गरिराछ पानी आउँदैन पानी आए त हुन्थ्यो यत्रो वर्ष भइसक्यो
उद्घाटन मात्रै गर्नुपर्ने थिएन होला नि त खाने पानी आखिर डाइरेक्ट आको पानी त छोड्दै भइहाल्थ्यो
हामीलाई पानीको कुनै समस्या छैन भन्ने फिल हुने गरी सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालय नेपाल सरकारले चाहिँ काम गर्दाखेरि राम्रो हुन्छ
प्राविधिक कठिनाइ नै देखाउँछन् तर हो कि होइन उनीहरुले नै जानु
राजनीति नगरेर पानी दिएता हुन्थ्यो नि मेलम्चीको
काठमाडौँले बगाउँछ भनेर चम्बेल कि बिहान उठ्दा छैन
सुरुमै राम्रोसँग नबनाएको कारण
आर्थिक चलखेलकै कारण पनि हुन सक्छ हैन यी राजनीतिक कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो पानी नआएको
यो सरकारले चाहिँ अलिकति विस्तृत रूपमा चाहिँ ध्यान पुर्याउनु पर्ने जस्तो देखिन्छ
एक दिन पनि रोकिनु चाहिँ हुँदैन
It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What's your take on loosening criteria regarding infrastructure development and establishment of industries in conservation areas? Your options are A, threat of deforestation, B, politics of votes, and C, development-friendly policy. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. The Yemeni Houthi movement targeted a U.S. ship in the Gulf of Aden with missiles, resulting in a direct hit yesterday. Earlier in the day, the U.S. military said an anti-ship ballistic missile fired by Houthi militants struck a Marshall Islands flagged U.S.-owned and operated container ship. No injuries or damages were reported. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sarriah said all U.S. and British ships and warships taking part in the aggression against Yemen would be targets for the group. Attacks on ships since October by the Houthis, who say they are acting in solidarity with Palestinians, have hit commerce and alarmed major powers in a regional escalation of Israel's more than 3-month war with Hamas militants in Gaza. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak yesterday said that strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen were unrelated to Israel's war with Hamas militants in Gaza. Speaking in Parliament, Sunak added that the strikes were an act of self-defense and were carefully targeted at launch sites for drones and ballistic missiles in Yemen's Bani and at Abs airfield. Britain last week participated in US-led airstrikes across Yemen against Houthi forces in retaliation for months of attacks on Red Sea shipping. The Houthis have been attacking international shipping in what they say is a campaign to support Palestinians under siege from Israeli forces in Gaza. The aftermath of a ballistic missile attack by Iran's Revolutionary Guards on Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdistan region was shown on Kurdish television this morning. The Guards said they launched missile attacks against espionage centers and gatherings of anti-Iranian terrorist groups near Iraq's northern city of Erbil, while targeting the perpetrators of terrorist operations in the Islamic Republic, particularly the Islamic State. Explosions were heard in an area some 40 kilometers northeast of Erbil in the Kurdistan region, in an area near the U.S. consulate as well as civilian residences. No U.S. facilities were impacted by the missiles' strikes. The Maldives has called for India to withdraw troops from the territory by 15th of March in a step that will further strain ties between the South Asian neighbors. President Mohamed Muizzu won election last year on a pledge to end the Maldives' India First policy in a region where New Delhi and Beijing compete for influence. A contingent of around 80 Indian soldiers are stationed on the Indian Ocean archipelago to provide support for military equipment given to the Maldives by New Delhi and assist in humanitarian activities in the region. In talks at the Foreign Ministry between senior delegations from both countries, Muizzu proposed that the soldiers leave office. Ahmad Nazim said the Maldivian delegation proposed the removal of Indian troops by 15th of March. In his campaign, Muizzu called New Delhi's huge influence a threat to sovereignty and pledged to remove Indian troops. India's foreign ministry confirmed that a wide range of issues on bilateral cooperation would be discussed between the two countries, but the statement was on the issue of the soldiers' departure from the islands. China and the Maldives upgraded their relationship during Muizzu's first state visit to Beijing last week by agreeing to a comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership that sets the stage for the Asian giant to up its investments in the Maldives. The Maldives owes China $1.37 billion, equivalent to around 20% of its public debt, according to World Bank data. And now, before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. The National Earthquake Safety Day being observed across the country today by organizing programs and activities regarding earthquake risk reduction. Dairy farmers yet to receive 750 million rupees in dues from the government. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal directs to clear the dues by mid-April. Houthi missile hits a U.S. ship in the Gulf of Aden. British Prime Minister Sunak says strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen unrelated to Israel's war with Hamas militants in Gaza. And Argentina football star Lionel Messi retains the FIFA Men's Player of the Year trophy. Spain's Aitana Bonmati voted for the Best Women's Player of the Year. That's all for the moment. We will now take you back to the live coverage of the Tiger Cup Women's Volleyball Tournament currently underway in Pokhara.